Yeah. Okay, am I on? All right. Welcome to the May 6th meeting of the Abingdon Town Council. I appreciate all of you all attending and appreciate your interest in the town's business and your participation with your town council. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our new town manager, Mr. Jimmy Moran.
I haven't done anything yet. Or if you don't like that,
That'll be the last one.
Okay, Kim, call roll, please.
Mr. Bradley.
Here.
Ms. Welch.
Here.
Mr. Webb.
Here.
Ms. Patterson.
Here.
And Mayor Craig.
Here. The first item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Donna Quinch is going to do that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, with the council's permission, I am going to make a presentation to the town council. Is that all right with everybody? For me to make a presentation to you?
Depends on what it is.
Well, make up your mind. Presentation by Mayor Wayne Craig to Abingdon Town Council, May 6, 2019. In 1716, Governor Alexander Spotswood led about 50 men from Williamsburg, Virginia, and crossed the Blue Ridge Mountains to explore the Shenandoah Valley, which was then a wilderness. To commemorate the expedition, Governor Spotswood presented the men a golden stick pin shaped like a horseshoe. Shaped like a horseshoe. Hence, these men became known as Knights of the Golden Horseshoe. In 1760, Daniel Boone also crossed the Blue Ridge Mountains, but much further west. Legend has that while he was camped in the area that is now known as Abingdon, he and his dogs were attacked by a pack of wolves. Hence, Boone named the area Wolf Hills. Since then, the wolf and Wolf Hills have become iconic symbols for Abingdon. The wolf, which is included on the town seal, is not only an appropriate symbol of Abingdon because of the legend, but also because it is a strong, bold, and adventuresome and works together in a close-knit family unit. From time to time, the members of the pack may growl and disagree with each other, but nevertheless come together for the good of the whole, which is what the members of all governing bodies should do. From what I've observed so far of this council, it appears that we are all learning from the spirit of the wolf and working together for the good of the whole. Therefore, following the tradition of Governor Spotswood, and to further the wolf as an iconic symbol for Abingdon, I present to you a small wolf keychain.
Oh, that's sweet.
Nice.
Thank you.
Jimmy, that's yours.
Wow.
Where's Ken? You get
Mr.
one.
Bidham.
Cindy gets one.
Thank you.
Wayne gets one. Where's Tanya? Tanya, you get one for some reason.
Well, that makes her feel welcome, Wayne.
Thank you very much. Thank
Jim, you get
Craig.
one.
I get one for some reason also.
Oh,
I think the reason you get one is because you sit up here. I think Tanya gets one because she runs her mouth and dominates the meeting anyway. This
oh
is for
my
Al.
goodness, here, Al.
This one is Donna,
Thank you.
and this is Derek.
That's wonderful.
By your acceptance of this wolf token, which you've already done, you came back out of it, you are now a member of the highly esteemed Order of the Wolf. May it always remind you of courage, honor, and teamwork for the good of the whole town, country, the whole town, county, and country. We're now more and more seeing the heart symbol around Abingdon and Virginia. Therefore, along with the wolf, I am presenting to each of you a small symbolic heart. Hopefully, it will remind us that we should always have love in our heart. That's my presentation.
Oh, wonderful. You're gonna make me cry, Wayne. It's an honor to be on the town council. There's a lot of hard work and dedication that goes along with it, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's changed my life. No, thank you.
Okay, council, we have 3 sets of minutes. Do you have any corrections on any of them? If you don't, we'll approve them all together. All right, I'll entertain a motion that we.
So moved.
I'll
Motion
second,
by Mr. Bradley to approve the minutes,
I'll second that.
second by Ms. Patterson. Any discussion? Kim, call a roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye. Public comments, we don't have any signed up, but if anyone wants to come forward and comment, you're welcome to do it. Okay, moving on. We have a resolution, Sarita Moore is gonna come forward and read a resolution.
Thank you, Mayor Craig, Vice Mayor, Council, Mr. Moraney. On a personal note, before I read the resolution, I just want to say that I have worked with Dan for the better part of 23 years. And it has been truly a pleasure and a privilege working with him and getting to know him. Over the years, he's taken on a lot of different roles, from mentor, leader, teacher, comedian, to to a coworker, but most importantly, a good friend. So to say that he's going to be missed by myself and my staff is truly an understatement. So, Dan, we wish you a very happy retirement. A resolution honoring and recognizing Dan Callahan upon his retirement as a Town of Abingdon employee. Whereas Dan Callahan served the Town of Abingdon at its wastewater treatment facility from November 15, 1978 until his retirement on May 31st, 2019, serving as lab coordinator, chief operator, and operations manager during his career. And whereas Dan will retire from his duties with the Town of Abingdon with over 40 years of dedicated service to the town. And whereas Dan served the town during a period of growth and development, including major upgrades and expansions at the treatment plant, while handling his duties ably and serving his community well. And whereas Dan has trained over 20 operators at the Wolf Creek Water Reclamation Facility while continuing to operate the plant at its highest level of efficiency. And whereas Dan was recognized with the town's 2012 Employee of the Year Award. And whereas Dan's hard work, dedication, and institutional knowledge will be missed by the Town of Abingdon as he begins his well-deserved retirement. Whereas the Town Council recognizes his contributions and acknowledges his value as an employee of the Town of Abingdon. Now, therefore, further resolved by the Council of the Town of Abingdon, Virginia, 5 of its members concurring, that the Town Council recognizes Dan Callahan for his dedicated service to the Town of Abingdon during his 40 years with the Wastewater Disposal Department for the Town of Abingdon. And that the Town Council officially thanks Dan Callahan for all he has done for the town and Abingdon and its citizens. That the Town Council wishes Dan Callahan well in all that he may choose to do in his retirement. And that the Town Council orders this resolution to recognize Dan Callahan spread upon the minutes of the council, and that a copy presented to him in gratitude for a job well done. This 5th day of May, 2019.
Council, what's your pleasure on the resolution?
I move to approve the resolution as
Motion by Ms.
stated.
Patterson to approve the resolution.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bradley. Any discussion? Kim, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig.
Aye. Mr. Callahan, come forward, please.
Okay.
Come on, get in here. Your family.
Come on now.
It's a lot bigger than
Come on now.
I have to get my eyes up.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan.
Well done, Dan, thank you.
Okay, we have 3 proclamations. Cindy's gonna read 2, and Al's gonna read 1. Cindy, proceed, please.
Absolutely, Mayor. Thank you very kindly. The first proclamation is for Municipal Clerks Week, May 5 through the 11th of 2019. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of the local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens and local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendered equal service to all. Whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the other meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is the most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now, therefore, would you like to finish that?
You go
want me
ahead.
to? Okay. Now therefore, on behalf of Mr. Craig, I, J. Wayne Craig, Mayor for the town of Abingdon, do recognize the week of May 5 through May 11th, 2019 as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Kim Kingsley, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they present. Thank you, Ms. Kingsley.
Thank you, Cindy. Go ahead with the next.
The next proclamation I'd like to read is declaring May 12th through the 18th, 2019 as Virginia Police Week and Peace Officers, Memorial Day. Whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed the first proclamation recognizing May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which it falls as National Police Week. And whereas police officers in the town of Abingdon and throughout our Commonwealth work tirelessly to protect and serve citizens across the Commonwealth, enforce our laws, and keep our neighborhoods, schools, and families safe. And whereas police officers report for duty, aware of the sacrifices they may be called upon to make and risk their lives each and every day in order to safeguard the public and enforce the laws of the Commonwealth. And whereas we reflect upon the selfless dedication and bravery of our town, state, and other public sector police as our safety and well-being is promoted by their devotion to maintaining peace and security in our communities. And whereas Virginia Police Week and Peace Officers Memorial Day are opportunities to honor officers who have fallen in the line of duty and recognize the sacrifices made by the families of those officers and the families of those who continue to protect and serve our communities. And on behalf of Mayor Wayne Craig, now therefore I, Jane Wayne Craig, do hereby recognize May 12 through 18, 2019 as Virginia Police Week and May 15, 2019 as Peace Officers Memorial Day. in our Commonwealth of Virginia, and I call these observances to the attention of all of our citizens, dated this 6th day of May, 2019.
Thank you, Cindy.
And the Bible says, "Blessed are the peacemakers."
Amen. Al,
A proclamation designating May,
no, hold on.
We were gonna, I think we were gonna have
Can we get a picture? Let's just come up and get a
Oh,
first.
yes,
Oh, well.
absolutely.
Well, we need to get one with Ken too.
Yeah, we need to get one with Kim. No, yes, we do.
Yes, we
We
do.
were speeding through here like a
No, we
racetrack.
can't. Where's Tanya? Tanya.
Where's Tanya?
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
I don't want my picture taken. Hold on.
Here we go. Let's comment here, guys.
Can I just say, this is year 17 for me here, and this is the first time I can recall that council recognized National Police Week. So thank you very much.
Well, give us a big hand,
I
Father.
really appreciate it.
And the officers. And the officers.
We truly do
We do.
appreciate what you all do. We really do.
Like, who are we looking at? Kim? Are we looking
What
at?
are we looking at?
Kim, Tanya, somebody?
Everybody like this.
Mind if I hold you, Dawn?
Thanks,
Thanks, sister. We love
Thank
you.
you all very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Ken.
Appreciate it. God bless all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
John, good to see you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you so much.
See you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Holton.
Thank you. Kim.
Come on, Kim. Miss Kingsley. Whoops.
She's trying to get out of it. She's trying to stand up.
What's she gonna do? Stand up, we're gonna have another picture.
One more photo shoot.
Kim?
Kim.
Come on, guys. All right. Are we okay? Oh, you're hugging him, okay.
Ready? Got it.
Thank you.
Okay. Al, one more
Okay.
proclamation.
A proclamation designating May 2019 as Business Appreciation Month. Whereas Abingdon businesses play essential roles in strengthening our community through their innovation, creation, expansion, and employing a workforce that preserves the economic well-being and quality of life for all our citizens. And whereas Abingdon businesses operate in diverse industries, including manufacturing, services, retail, tourism, agribusiness, and information technology. And whereas the town of Abingdon is pleased to recognize the accomplishments of our existing business entrepreneurs, small minority and women-owned businesses, and the major employers that contribute greatly to the economic recovery of our region. And whereas it is fitting to offer the citizens of our community a unique opportunity to recognize Abingdon businesses for the essential roles they play in driving the new and diverse economy. Now therefore be it resolved that in an effort to acknowledge the importance of business and numerous contributions they make to our community, Wayne Craig does hereby recognize May 2019 as Business Appreciation Month in the town of Abingdon and calls this observance to the attention of our citizens. Now I think Tanya has something to say about.
Thank you all for the opportunity. So for the second year in a row, we had the Best of Abingdon Survey Monkey vote, and we had 30 categories this year that will be, that we did vote for from through the month of March. And we will be out this week presenting the winners with their awards. We're going to do some Facebook Live because we know that folks who use videos on their social media and on the websites get a few more views, so it'll be something that we can share with the business owners that they can actually use for marketing themselves. And then if you want to go back and look at the winners from last year, if you go to Abingdon TV, YouTube, 2018 Best of Abingdon, you can kind of look at who won and see if there's any surprises for this year. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We
Thank
appreciate your
you.
work.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is a public hearing and first reading on the to repeal amend and reenact Article 2, noise ordinance, Section 30 of the Code of the Town of Abingdon. Jason Boswell.
Thank you, Mayor Craig, Honorable Council. This public hearing is concerning an update, or an amendment rather, to Chapter 30 of the Town Code of Ordinances, Article 2, Noise Ordinance. This ordinance has been discussed in 2 previous work sessions. Intertown Manager, Mr. Vidham, who's there now, he asked myself to take a look at amending the language concerning commercial establishments in mixed-use areas. We addressed the issues of the language concerning the commercial establishments. Mr. Bell and myself discussed adding some definitions, specifically definitions for discernible, instrument, mixed-use area, noise, and also restaurant. The most notable change to the existing ordinance is the language added to Section 3033 exemptions for commercial establishments in mixed-use areas. The time has been amended from, would be proposed to be amended from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. until 12 a.m. for commercial establishments in mixed-use areas only. And that should be in your packet. That's what I got.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the public hearing is now open. If anyone would like to speak on the amendment to the noise ordinance, would you please come forward and state your name and address? And you'll be allowed to speak for 3 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Stephen Jett, 333 Court Street in this town. Noise issues are one of my particular interests. I was a principal author of the noise ordinance for Davis, California many years ago, and I published on noise pollution perception. And so I'd like to say a word or two about this. I think these are positive clarifications that are proposed here and have no problem with them. I have said before to the council, however, that the noise ordinance as it exists is, in my opinion, quite inadequate in a number of ways. I assume it'll be reviewed with a general review of the code. I might add that having last year moved into my 9th decade, I have determined to reduce my civic involvement. However, if the ordinance, noise ordinance is reviewed, I would be available if wanted to have some input into that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak on the noise ordinance? Okay. Hearing no other speakers, I declare the public hearing closed. And I'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove the amendment. And if you want to make a motion to approve it, you can also put in the motion that we dispense with the reading, with the second reading. And we can go ahead and act on it. Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the amendment to the noise ordinance and dispense with the second reading.
Motion by Mr. Bradley to approve and dispense with the second reading.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Webb. Any discussion?
Yes, I do have some discussion. Please, Mayor Craig.
Sure, go ahead.
Just to educate the public and those who are involved in the town of Abingdon. The ordinance is for mixed use, and it is not talking about construction. I've mentioned several times that I'm interested in looking into that ordinance as well. And I think that at this time, Mr. Boswell's working on that.
Zoning.
Pardon me?
Currently the zoning.
Currently the zoning ordinance. So in the future, we'll be working on the noise ordinance for construction. I think that in our area. We may not have any construction for a while, but we might. Abingdon's growing. I just think that we need to observe peaceful times in the evenings and not have dynamite drilling at 10 o'clock at night, et cetera, and loud noises and beeps and all. It just disturbs the peace. So I'd like to see that being worked on as well. And thank you all for that. That's all I have to say.
Any other discussion?
I'll clarify, to dispense with the second reading, you need 4 affirmative votes under the code.
It's just a what? I didn't hear you.
To dispense with the second reading, you need 4 affirmative votes.
Okay, thank you.
Effective 30 days.
It will be, right. Unless it's an emergency, it will still be effective 30 days from the date of passage today, but you can do away with the second reading.
Okay.
Would you like to elaborate on what I just said about the ordinance? Because I thought maybe, just like when do you think that we'll be talking about the construction ordinance?
The committee that the council put together is working on the zoning ordinance now, so I think that's next in line, would be noise ordinance and some of the other parts of the code.
Okay. Again, thank you.
Sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Any other discussion?
Will I be violating this ordinance if I play a radio in my attic?
How?
It's after 11.
Okay.
This is what we're talking about. Why would you play a radio in your attic?
It was just a circumstance.
Okay, Kim, call roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Wedge?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then we have another public hearing. Consideration of proposed partial road closure of Hagee Street. Matt Bullock.
Good evening, Mayor Craig and Council. I'd like to just give you a brief summary of the resolutions in front of you. The public hearing is to close Hagee Street. That is part of our urban trail, and I'll be honest, I thought this is something that had been addressed by the town council years ago. Fortunately, town staff did look into it and realized that the official action by the council had never taken place, and to close a street to vehicular traffic does take an action by the town council. So this is to close Hagee Street from the intersection of Preston Street for only for about 200 feet. And again, that part of the street is going to be incorporated into our urban trail. So if during after the public hearing, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those for you.
While he's at the podium, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay. When was the survey completed on this? Do you have a copy of the survey?
The physical survey, or like the citizen input survey?
The physical survey?
I would say that it was probably completed 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. Do you happen to have a copy of that?
I'd have to look for it.
Okay.
Has anybody raised concern about that particular portion?
It's temporarily blocked right now, and I've had no comments on it.
And it doesn't prevent anybody from getting in and out or anything?
We have not blocked any entrances or any driveways.
The reason I asked for the survey is because I had someone call me and they wished to remain anonymous, but they had some question about the survey. And they said that it's probably more property than what we know, and that's all I know.
Okay.
The reason I ask, I've run it 100 times on the urban pathway in the mornings and whatnot, and it's a very short segment. I mean,
I agree. It
Just
is
clarifying.
short. Yes, sir.
Okay, the public hearing is now open on the closure of Hagee Street. If anyone desires to speak on the matter, come forward and give your name and address, and be allowed to speak for 3 minutes. No one wants to speak on the closure of Hagee Street. Okay, I declare the public hearing closed. Council, what's your pleasure? Do you want to close Hagee Street or not? What's your pleasure?
Well, I'll just move that we close Hagee Street.
the whole thing?
Yes, that part of it. 225 linear feet.
You make a motion, Al?
Yes, sir.
You want to dispense with the second reading also?
Well, I thought you'd never ask. Yes, sir.
All right. All right, we have a motion to close a portion of Hagley Street and dispense with the second reading.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Webb. Any discussion?
I feel that, in all due respect, I feel that since that was brought up by someone in Abingdon about the survey, that we might need to look at that survey before we move on this.
I don't understand what a survey has to do with the closing of the street.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't see what a survey has to do with the closing of a public street. The street exists in the field,
I
so.
think it would allow more room, but it's,
More room for what?
Are you saying that, somebody's saying that there is personal property that the town is claiming, or
I
vice
think
versa?
more road.
More than the 225 feet?
This is not just to point out, this is not a vacation. We're not abandoning the right-of-way. We're just closing the street to vehicular traffic. So there's that.
And it's gonna be used as a part of the path, right?
Yes, sir.
And the path's already built.
Right.
Well, then,
Yes.
I don't see again, I don't see what a survey.
Well,
has to do with it.
I just had to bring that up because somebody approached me, so
Okay.
I'm gonna be transparent.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Kim, call roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
we have a public hearing, first reading, an ordinance for the town of Abingdon, Virginia, proposing a budget. Chuck, you gonna read that? What are you gonna do?
Short straw. Mayor Craig, members of council, I've got the proposed 2019-2020 fiscal year budget. First and foremost, I'd like to say it contains no tax or fee increases in the budget. The total budget proposed for next year is $26,871,280. That consists of $23,417,630 of general fund dollars, $3,453,650 of sewer fund dollars. Within the general fund, the operations for the general fund operational budget is $13,426,493. The capital projects fund out of the general fund is $9,991,137. The sewer fund, total budget for the sewer fund, as I mentioned before, was $3,453,650. The general fund capital projects include funds for the sports complex, the Park Street project, the Creeper Trail improvement projects, the historical property renovations, and some other infrastructure. And I'll be glad to.
How does this compare, the general fund, to last year's budget?
It's a couple million more, but it's because of the capital projects. The capital projects last year was about 6.7 million. This year it's 9.9, so we're right at $3 million that's on the general fund side, and those are funded by various sources of funding.
Any more questions of Mr. Banner?
Mr. Banner, is this still predicated on the potential of the town needing to borrow another $1 million?
That's what's included in the proposal that Mr. Vedum had sent you.
So that potential exists?
It does potential exist, but that could be, it just depends on how the revenue flows come in.
Any more questions? Thank you, Chuck. I declare the public hearing on the proposed budget open. If anyone would like to speak, come forward, state your name and address, and you can speak for 3 minutes. Anybody want to speak about the budget? Okay, I declare the public hearing closed, and this matter requires a second reading, and we'll take the matter up at the June meeting. The next item on the agenda is consideration of final plat for proposed subdivision of property Colonial Square, AAV LLC, 525 Village Boulevard. Jason Foster.
Thank you, Mayor Craig, Honorable Council. This agenda item is for consideration of approval of the final plat for a proposed subdivision of property for Colonial Square AVA LLC, also known as the Food Line property. The property is located at 845 Village Boulevard, consisting of 7.727 acres, more or less, currently zoned B2, tax map ID 017-17-9. The proposed subdivision consists of two parcels, parcel 1 consisting of 4.523 acres, more or less, and parcel 2 consisting of 3.205 acres, more or less. Per section 8.1 of Article 8, final plat requirements, the owner has submitted a written and signed statement explaining how and when they propose to install sidewalks across the entire frontage within 6 months of approval of the final plat. The Planning Commission unanimously approved the final plat at the April 22nd, 2019 meeting. Planning Department and Planning Commission are submitting a recommendation to the council for approval of the final plat.
Okay, council, what's your pleasure on the final plat?
I move we follow the recommendation of the Planning Commission.
I second
Motion
that.
by Mr. Bradley to follow the recommendations of the Planning Commission, second by Ms. Patterson. Any discussion? Kim, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
Mayor Craig?
Aye.
Thank you.
There are no second readings, consideration of bids, none. Reports of the town's manager, we have a statement from Kenneth F. Dittum, former interim town manager.
It's funny being on this side of the wanted to take this opportunity to thank Mayor Craig and the members of Town Council for giving me the opportunity to have served as your interim town manager for the past 7 months. I also want to thank the many fine employees and staff who serve this community daily for their professional and personal support that's made any success that I've achieved possible. I also want to wish Jimmy Morani much success as he assumes the role of town manager, and to offer him any continued support and guidance that he may need during the transition period. Abingdon is a great community. As you know, I began my management career as a citizen of Abingdon when I lived here and earned my master's degree from East Tennessee State University. Coming back to serve as the interim manager was special, as it allowed me to end my career in a sense where it began, and that's a privilege that I thank you for. There are many opportunities for the community to succeed in the future, and I think that the future is going to be a good one. It's been a tumultuous few years, a lot of turnover in key positions and on council. I hope with the new management that period has ended, and there will be stability over the next few years that will let the community move forward more harmoniously. There's a lot to celebrate and to look forward to in the coming year. You have Park Street, Watauga and Glen Roque Creeper Trail, the Main Street Sidewalk Project, all great public improvements. The budget also funds some needed improvements to several historic properties, which I think has been something that the town council has looked forward to do. And I look forward to coming back in the future and seeing the results of these projects. Abingdon will also soon begin to benefit from the New Meadows development. This project is going to bring new stores, restaurants to serve the community, beginning later this calendar year. Over the next couple of years, the sports complex will bring recreational opportunities to the citizens and youth of the community. Controversial as it's been at times, this development offers opportunities that many communities in Southwest Virginia would really die for and can only dream about. With the comprehensive plan underway and major updates to the zoning ordinance started, I would urge you to move forward with developing of a new capital improvements plan and update of the personnel policy. The first is needed to properly plan and phase future growth for large-scale projects and purchases. This will avoid potential adverse budget impacts and guide the future of the community better. The latter will standardize how the government operates and deals with personnel issues. I also believe that council has begun the process to address the needs of several historic properties by budgeting funds in the upcoming year to meet critical needs and reverse the neglect and decay of these wonderful assets. I would urge council to come together as a group and establish a plan for what purpose each of these will be put to once the renovations are completed. Again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be involved and to have served as the town manager. And I want to wish you the best as you work to make Abingdon the best community in Southwest Virginia. Thank you very much.
We want to thank you for your service. Let's give Kim a big hand. The next item is statement from Jimmy Morani, town manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have an eloquent written statement like Mr. Vittum, but I can say that Ken has made it really easy to come in and transition. He's provided me with a lot of information and been very helpful during this transition. I've just been overwhelmed with the kindness and the welcoming nature of the community and of the town officials. I really am going to enjoy it here, and I look forward to working with everybody and on the town and also in, members of the community. So I want to thank everybody for such a warm welcome.
Thank you, Jim. The next item is matters, old business and matters not on the agenda. Item number one, I'm not going to bring before the council because this discussion of civic club organization sign is a staff matter, not a council matter. I understand that there may be one or more council members who don't agree with that decision. So the way to handle that is to make a motion to overrule the chair.
I hate to sound like a horrible person, but I did have a comment from a couple of citizens in Abingdon.
Now, wait a minute, Cindy, you
Yes.
need to make a motion to overrule the chair before we discuss.
Okay, I'll overrule the chair then.
You make a motion to overrule
Make a
the chair.
motion.
Is there a second? You're in no second, the room the chair stands.
Okay.
Discussion of creation of a finance committee and appointing 2 members of council to that committee. Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor. This was discussed at the last work session to have a more workable way to work with the Director of Finance / Treasurer in preparing the budget and a number of other matters that are listed in the ordinance. The ordinance would appoint 2 members of council and the town manager to work as a committee along with the Director of Finance towards the duties that are enumerated in the 4th whereas clause, A through G. It provides for meetings at, appointment of specific officers, a chairman and a secretary to keep minutes, the records filed with the town clerk, and that the committee meet at regular intervals established by the committee. Similar to the last ordinance that you considered, if 4 members vote, then we can dispense with the second reading. I know that there had been some, since the budget is upon us, if if council desired for this committee to be enacted immediately, then also 4 members of that could adopt it as an emergency measure and have it effective immediately. Otherwise, it would be 30 days from now.
Okay. Council, what's your pleasure? Do you want to form the committee immediately?
I'd like to be a part of that, if I could, on the committee.
Okay, let's handle this separately, if you don't mind. Donna, we need a motion to form the committee.
Oh, I would so move. I think that's important.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, motion by Mr. Webb to form the committee.
It would be to adopt the ordinance.
To adopt the ordinance, I'm sorry. To adopt the ordinance forming the finance committee. Second by Mr. Webb. Any discussion?
Mayor Craig,
Yes.
I hope that I can do this in the right fashion. This might be strike number 2, but I'm going to give it a shot. I did some more research on finance committees, also looked at citizens on the finance committee, and during the work session, we did speak about, or I did ask if citizens could be on this committee, and was advised that that doesn't happen. And I think that the citizens, at least 1 or 2, could be on a committee of this nature because it shows transparency.
Wait a minute, Cindy, if you want to change the motion, you need to amend the motion. So if you want citizens on the finance committee, you need to amend the motion. If you want, or to amend the motion, or to, what is it called, Kevin?
Well, I think she'd have to request Mr. Webb to amend his motion, or this motion be brought.
Make a
to vote.
substitute motion. You can make a substitute motion, or you can make a motion to amend the motion. So, do you want to make a substitute motion, or then to put citizens on?
Well, Mr. Webb's motion is before the council. It would have to be his decision to amend his motion that he has.
I understand that, but she can make a substitute motion.
Right.
Okay. So if you want to put citizens on there, make a substitute motion, see if you get a second.
I would like to do that. I'd like to
Okay.
make a substitute motion.
Okay,
and-
motion,
but-
go ahead.
Okay, what I was gonna say, and I'm sorry, I'm a little lengthy here, but why don't we have it joining?
I think he has to amend his motion first.
Okay.
That either passes or it doesn't pass. If she moves for him to amend his motion, then that can be brought before the
Okay,
council.
all right. So,
I guess maybe you're suggesting that she propose a substitute motion for which it would need a second, but I think that we have to just determine the motion on the floor first.
Okay, all right. So you'll have to amend his motion. So, if you want citizens on there, do you want to?
Don't we have to vote?
Yeah, we have to vote, but she has to make a motion to amend the motion, is that right?
No.
It's his
Yes.
motion, it's his decision whether to amend his motion or not. There'd need to be a
And we have
second
a
for
second.
that, or to vote on the
Do
existing.
you want your motion amended to put citizens on the finance committee?
Well, the long and short of it is, I think that's pulling too many people into the mix, because scheduling and so on and so forth, so I do not amend my motion.
Okay, all right, so any further discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing no discussion, call it roll, please, Kim.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Nay.
And Mayor Craig?
Now, Cindy, I believe Cam has said that you can now make your substitute motion if you want to.
I do. I would like to make a substitute motion, but I don't know how we're gonna do this because it was gonna involve Finance Committee and a Citizen Budget Committee, combine both of those together. In Chesterfield County, they have a Citizen Budget Committee, and I thought, wow, that's great. We ran on open government, you and I did, Mr. Craig, and I just felt that the citizens have a voice, and I
Cindy,
feel.
we need to be a little bit more orderly. You need to make a motion before we discuss it.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
whatever you want us to do.
Okay, I just make a motion to, a substitute motion to have a finance committee and a citizen budget committee combined. In other words, have that be one committee so that you don't have like two, because they're both financial entity.
Probably need to
type.
say how many citizens you want on there.
2,
Okay.
and
All right, motion by Ms. Patterson to establish a combined finance committee with citizens on it. Is there, with 2 citizens on it? Is there a second to that motion?
It may have to be 3, I'm sorry, Mayor Craig, because it
Okay.
has to be odd number, so 3.
All right.
Or another finance person.
Okay, do you want another finance person, or do you want a citizen?
Well, let's say the staff, so finance person.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
Kim, do you have that motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there a second?
Well, even though I seconded the other motion, I'll second this one just to get it moving,
Okay.
decided.
Hold on. What the council just did was adopted an ordinance. So as I understand the motion before the council now, it would really need to be to rescind the vote that just happened, to adopt a ordinance that is different or amended from the ordinance that just was adopted. But the form of the ordinance is not before the council, consistent with the code to consider now.
Okay, so what we would have to do is, what you're saying we would have to do is have you draw up another ordinance. We would need to rescind this motion, this ordinance, have you draw up another one and bring it to the next council meeting, is that right?
Have to be presented to the town clerk by noon on the day of the meeting and comply with the code.
All right, I'm sorry, Cindy, I've never been tangled up in anything like this before, so.
I haven't either.
I do have a question, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Belson, that would mean the ordinance that would be presented at that time would also be an ordinance rescinding, would it be the same ordinance? Or would it be a separate ordinance rescinding and then a new ordinance amending that section? Or I guess it would be, it could be an amendment, it just could be an amendment to that section.
Ken, tell her what she needs to do.
Well, what council could do, well, what council has already done is adopted the ordinances for council. What could happen at the next meeting is draft an ordinance that amends the current ordinance, and bring that to council at the next.
What motion does she make? She wants to address, what motion does she make?
It's your motion, but I think it would be either to rescind this current ordinance or to amend the current ordinance, but in a form to be presented at a later time. But I'm not sure that's.
I thought you said we had, okay.
I think he's saying the motion could be to draft the ordinance to present it, is what he's saying. It's a directive.
When Mr. Webb's motion was pending, then the procedure would have been to amend the motion, but that motion passed. So now we have an ordinance adopted by the council. What I hear Mrs. Patterson saying is that there be either a rescind the old one and do a new ordinance or amend the existing one, but the issue is that in order to present an ordinance, since we're not just doing this by resolution, there would need to be a draft of the ordinance for the council.
So she needs to withdraw her motion because it was out of order, the motion that she's already made. And Al would need to withdraw his second, and then she needs to make a motion to rescind, is that correct?
I think even you could rescind the whole thing and then start from scratch, yes.
Okay. All right. So, Cindy, do you want to withdraw your motion? He said it's out of order.
I don't think it can be acted on today because the draft ordinance isn't before the council, so yes.
So just withdraw the motion.
Table it or whatever the council.
How about tabling it, because I think that we need this, but I think that it needs to be with citizen input as well.
Wait a minute. We've got a motion and a second. It's not a motion to table, Cam.
Well, council can vote on it and be the vote what it is, either up or down, or if it passes, I think it won't be, it will not enact an ordinance if it passes.
Do you want to do that or withdraw it and make a motion to rescind? Is that, either one of those is okay? All right. Okay, Cindy, you want to withdraw your motion and make a motion to rescind the?
Yes.
Okay.
I withdraw my motion, my original
Al, do you
motion.
withdraw the second?
Sure.
All right.
And well.
Now you want to make a motion to rescind
I
what we
do.
just did?
I do want to make.
Can I interject something here?
Yes.
Is it true that somebody who votes in the affirmative has to be one to rescind it? Is that, or is that just, is that a Robert's rule, or is that
I think
not
that's-
applicable?
I think that's true.
Yeah, that
Okay,
is
so that
true.
means if we were gonna rescind it, then Mr. Bradley, I think, would.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, 'cause I think that's, am I right?
I think you're right.
Didn't know if that was just an Illinois thing, but I thought it was a Robert's
I
rule.
think you're right.
Yeah,
I think
it's a
you're
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Al. Al's gonna vote to rescind that, right?
So I'm moving to rescind the motion that was just made. Is that correct?
Okay. Is there a motion by Mr. Bradley to rescind what we just did? Did you second it, Cindy?
Am I allowed?
I don't know, you have to ask him.
Am I allowed? Okay, because I voted nay. All right, yes.
Okay.
I'll second
Now,
that.
any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Kim, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Nay.
Mr. Webb?
Nay.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Nay.
After all that.
Okay, consideration to. Kim, I don't know if I'm gonna get through this or not, I'm gonna have a heart attack.
I'm not sure he will either. Okay, so the council passed the ordinance appointing the finance committee.
Correct.
So you need to appoint the members
Oh,
to
I'm
that
sorry.
committee.
You're right. All right, then Donna wants to serve. I nominate Donna. Any other nominations? All right.
I'd like to be on it too.
I've said before in the last meeting, I would like to be on it if possible.
Okay, well, then, the floor is open for nominations. I've nominated Donna. What other nominations are there?
Me.
I'll nominate Derek.
Donna nominates Derek. Cindy nominated herself.
So we need to do separate motions. Okay. Donna, you, or Mr. Craig, you nominated Donna first, correct? I need someone to second before we, because. Okay. Yes, thank you.
Do we have to have a second on the nomination, Kim? I don't think so.
It's a motion.
I don't think you have to have a second for nomination.
Our ordinance says two, so how are we going to handle it?
I think the floor can be open for nominations, and then there can be a vote
Yeah.
as to, and the two highest vote getters.
Yeah, I think that's what we normally do.
Excuse me.
Okay. So the nominees are Derek, Donna, and Cindy. Okay, so Kim, call the roll on Derek.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye. Okay, now call the roll on Cindy.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Nay.
Mr. Webb?
Nay.
Ms. Patterson?
Yes, aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Nay. All right, call the roll-
Wow, I'm the popular person.
Call the
Love
roll
it.
on Derek.
Donna.
Donna.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Nay.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye. Okay. Consideration to declare excuse me. Oh my God.
You have to nominate Derek.
Do you want this to be an emergency measure so it's effective immediately?
I
or-
think that's what.
Was that in the original motion?
Yes.
I don't think it was.
It was.
Oh, God, do we have to do this again?
Oh my God.
This requires four votes.
Do we want it to be?
Do we need it to be emergency? We've already gone through the budget.
Situation.
Right. The issue would be whether you want it to be in place in this
I
last
thought
month
that
prior
was
to-
in the motion. I mean, I said that. But,
No, it was in discussion, but it's not in motion.
So we gotta do this motion over again?
Just whether it's emergency or not.
I mean, I don't see it as an emergency personally, unless you guys just feel like it.
If it's not an emergency, it'll go.
All right,
into
well, let's
effect
just let it
June
take
6th.
place 30 days later. All
Fair
right.
enough.
All right, discussion, consideration to declare 3 trolleys as surplus and authorize the town manager to sell the trolleys. We discussed this in the work session. As I understand it, there's not much need for the trolleys. Council, what's your pleasure?
I move that we sell the trolleys.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we sell the trolleys. Any discussion? I guess we need to authorize the town manager to advertise them. No, we just need to declare them surplus, right? Motion is declare them surplus and sell them. See, Al made the motion, is there a second? Derek seconded. Okay, any
No,
discussion?
I made the motion, and Mr. Bradley
Cindy made the motion, Mr. Bradley seconded it. Kim, call a roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
I apologize to you all for being so confused tonight, but this has been kind of new for me. Okay, next item is council member reports. Reports from the council member.
Text message. Thank you, Jesus.
Boy, that was a really good report.
It's a really fun first meeting.
Wow.
Oh my gosh,
I don't know what to say about one, Cindy. I'm just tapping out. It's a good ringtone.
Oh, God. Okay. Does anybody have a report?
I don't know how I could follow that.
Gosh, that's terrible. Oh, that's never happened before.
I would like to point out, in something fairly serious, that tomorrow night at the Virginia Highlands Small Business Incubator from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, there's a comprehensive plan community meeting. That's very important to the future of the town of Abingdon, and I hope you all will try to attend.
Okay, Al, I would like to go, but I won't be able to be there because I've got to go to kind of recruit a business, so I won't be able to attend, but I'd like to be there. I encourage all the other council members to be there. Any other reports?
Mayor Craig, we were invited to the Barter Theater to see Miss Jane Seymour. And I was asked if we could meet with Miss Seymour and give her the key to the town like has done in the past. I think Mr. Duvall, Robert Duvall got a key, so we were approached and the council was invited to go. And I'd like to invite the public to go too. It's, that's why I've got my phone out here, was looking at the date, so I apologize for that. Barter on Wednesday the 8th at 7:30 to 8:30, but they said that I think we could meet about 5:15 or so to give her the key. So just so you all know that. Also, I met Kim Trent, who was a preservation strategist, and she's in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I met her at the preservation meeting in Pulaski, and it was a 2-day meeting, and I really enjoyed it. I learned a whole lot, and I did invite her to come to Abingdon, so I hope she'll come to Abingdon and help us with decisions on some of our historic properties, what we're going to do with them once we get them restored. So I look forward to that. Also, I'd like to warmly welcome Mr. Jimmy Moraney, our new town manager, and Mr. Tennis, you did a great job with information in the newspaper about Mr. Moraney. Thank you. And if anybody wants to read that, I've got a copy
He
here.
didn't print all the juicy stuff I told him.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
Oh, well.
I don't think we want to hear any juicy stuff.
No.
Okay, I'll make one brief report. At your table, I left a copy of the rules and regulations of the town council, so I'm gonna, this is funny. I'm gonna try to be more careful in enforcing the rules and regulations in our meetings to shorten them a little bit. I've had some concerns expressed that our meetings were too long. So would you please review those rules and regulations so we can adhere to them and maybe our meetings will be a little shorter. The next item on the agenda is appointments to the boards and committees. Council, we can do this in closed session. There's only there's only one person that has applied for this position. So we can just elect that person in open session, or we can go in closed session and discuss it, whichever, what is your pleasure?
Well, since they're the only ones that applied for the position, and everybody in town knows about it, I think we should just go ahead and elect them.
All right. You want to make a motion to elect?
I sure
Ed
do. Yes,
Fuqua?
please.
Motion by Ms. Patterson to elect Ed Fuqua to the Board of Building Code Appeals. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Al Bradley. Any discussion? Kim, call roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye. The next item on the agenda is a closed session. It's on your agenda. This is for a meeting with to discuss a contract with the award of a contract with Main Street, between Abingdon and Main Street. I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session for that purpose.
I'll second that.
You making a motion to go into closed session? Read what it says there, Donna.
Actually, I don't have it with me. Let me read it. I'm so hoarse.
I'll make a motion.
I'm so hoarse.
You're fine. I'll make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to section 2.2-3711A29 of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended concerning discussion of the award of the contract with Virginia Main Street and/or Abingdon Main Street.
Okay, motion by Mr. Webb to go into closed session. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Quetch. Any discussion? Call roll, please, Kim.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Quetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Aye.
Can we have Tanya Triplett to sit in on this too? Tanya Triplett, can she sit in too?
Yes, Tanya and Kim and Jimmy and Ken and Cam. We're going to hold this closed session downstairs in the Harvard Campbell room because our conference room is not large enough.
There's nobody here. This'll be quick on me.
I totally would have thought that was something.
Don't we have fun, right?
Mr. Baker, I'm surprised you've never played a radio in your attic.
I'm not sure I want to know this whole story.
Oh, God. Hell, I'm making moonshine up my attic. Okay, council. I need a motion to go back into open session.
I'll move that we go back into open session.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Burgess, second by Ms. Witch to go back into open session. Kim, any discussion? Kim, call roll, please.
Mr. Bradley?
Aye.
Ms. Wetch?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Ms. Patterson?
Aye.
And Mayor Craig?
Let me make sure I've screwed everything up.
Just a
So-
second,
Wait a
sir.
minute.
I gotta read the third page. Whereas the council of the town of Abilene, Virginia has convened in a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote being in accordance with provisions set forth in the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. Whereas section 2.23712D of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended requires a certification by the town council that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the council of the town of Abilene, Virginia hereby certifies to the best of each member's knowledge only public business matters lawfully exempted from an open meeting requirement by Virginia law were discussed in closed meeting to which the certification resolution applies. Only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the town council. Mr. Bradley?
I so certify.
Ms. Quetch?
I so certify.
Mr. Webb?
I so certify.
Ms. Patterson?
I so
And
certify.
Mayor Craig?
I so certify. This meeting is adjourned.
That was quick.